Hello and welcome to another Dollhouse market update. Thanks very much for taking the time to view this video. Today we're going to look at the question, a little bit of comparing when you're looking at the national media and you look at Calgary media, it gets a little confusing. So we're going to compare one of the things we're going to look at the question of the national market as compared to the Calgary market. When you're reading the National Post, the Globe and Mail, or even listening to a lot of the news reports, we're looking often at a national picture, and it doesn't give us much information of what's going on here in Calgary. So we're going to take a look at that. So why don't we start off at looking at one of the most important things when it determines where a market is in its growth pattern, and that is the affordability index. Now, when you're looking at the national media is often going to talk about Toronto and Vancouver. That's where they seem to focus their attention. Now, you're hearing probably a little bit about the questions of a bubble bursting, and if you take a look at the Vancouver number over here, absolutely there's some question marks that we should have in the Vancouver market. Affordability index is basically right here. What it's going to look at is the percentage of your income that it goes into your home ownership. If you take a look at Vancouver, this yellow dot indicates where they are. 85% of Vancouver's income is going to owning a home if they were to buy a new home at the average price. Toronto, again, is a little bit higher. It's about 45–50%. Calgary is below 40%, and that's going to be well at the most affordable Calgary has ever been, or maybe not ever, but in recent times. These spreads that you see here is about the average, the low end to the top end. So if you see Calgary in 2007 hit about that 60% mark, and we've fallen back to about 36–37% right now. Edmonton, on the other hand, is a little bit better than Calgary in terms of its affordability, but it's right on its long-term average, which is that gray line. Calgary is below its long-term average. Vancouver is well above, and Toronto is a little bit above. So when you're looking at that idea of a bubble, when you start seeing numbers like this, I would be a little bit cautious about buying Vancouver real estate. Toronto as well, but looking at Edmonton and Calgary, we're hearing that Edmonton and Calgary are some of the best places to buy real estate, and this is really why. Taking a look again, the national picture is compared to our own picture. At the end of this graph over here is recent times. So this is 2007. We've had that falling off, which was a national trend, but nationally the prices have been going up pretty significantly since about 2009, beginning of 2010. Has not happened here in Calgary as we look at this graph, and we see that flattening out of prices in 2009 through to the present. 2007 over here, we saw those big increases in prices. High home prices at that time basically fell off a cliff and has been really constant within a very narrow band since about 2009. We are right here at the end of the graph. We are seeing some strengthening in Calgary. All right, let's go and take a look at the economy in Calgary. When you're looking at a real estate market, it's really important to understand the economic fundamentals in that market. So taking a look at, first of all, the employment rate. In Calgary, the employment rate has been growing since probably almost 3 years of consistent employment growth. Here we're showing about almost a year and a half. Blue lines are 2011, the orange lines into 2012. So month over month, we continue to see more and more people employed in the city of Calgary. That gives people the disposable income to get into the real estate market. Conversely, we're going to look at the unemployment rate in Calgary, and we see that that's been declining for the same amount of time. So it's not just a function of more people moving into Calgary, but actually there are more people working and actually fewer people unemployed in the city. We're actually getting down to some levels here. 5.3% is where this graph ends. We're hearing that it's about 5.2, 5.1% now in Calgary. Oil prices in the city is also a significant driver in Calgary. 2007, we saw that big spike in oil prices. We all know the type of economy and what happened in the real estate market at that time. And we're seeing a similar trend right now. Remember that there is a glut of oil in the Midwest. We're not getting those prices in the open market, but it's still an indicator that oil is doing quite well. On the other hand, we have natural gas, another big indicator. It's having some significant downward pressure. So we haven't seen what effect that is going to have on the Calgary economy, but to date, the oil sands, some of the diversification in the economy seems to be giving Calgary enough strength to make it through this natural gas dip. Now we're going to take a look, like we always do every month, we're going to look at the market update. So we're going to look at real estate, what's happening, why it's happening in the city of Calgary. So let's take a look at inventory versus sales. Real estate, like all other markets, is a supply versus demand. When supply exceeds demand, we have softening of prices, and when demand exceeds supply, we have an increase in price. And we're starting to see in this graph that with demand going up considerably, we haven't seen these demand levels since 2009, and the trends are that they are continuing to grow. But interestingly, the supply level is really tight. We are anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 homes lower than where we normally are at this time of year. That's going to translate into an absorption rate that's really tight. Looking at the absorption rate, we skipped one, so let's go back previous. Looking at the absorption rate, now again, the absorption rate, this model, the lower the line is, actually the stronger the real estate market is. Based on a concept, if 100 homes are on the market, 10 were selling every day, you would get an absorption rate of 10 days. Now, we're not seeing that right now, but we are seeing an absorption rate right at the very lower end of our balanced market. Okay? A balanced market is where prices generally stay fairly stable, kind of increasing at the rate of inflation, maybe a little bit faster when we're getting into the lower ends where we are right now. The trend line from the beginning of the year to now is a strengthening market, more and more demand, less and less supply. So we are seeing a tightening of this market, and it doesn't show any signs of weakening right now. I'm not predicting that it's going to fall much below this balanced market, but it could fall a little bit before. So we'll keep an eye on this report next month, and we'll take a look at where we're at that point. So that strengthening of supply, or strengthening of demand and tightening of supply, we're starting to see an increase in home values. The green line is your condominiums, and they tended to lead the market, and we're seeing that, the big jump in condominium prices. Single families and townhomes are your red and blue lines, and we're seeing them actually increase as well. So in all across the market, we are seeing some price increases. Not huge at this point, but some strengthening there. We're a long way from where we were in 2007. Even 2009, we haven't hit that. 2008, we're not there yet either. So, you know, it's probably the hardest thing that I have to do is tell people who bought their homes in 2007 what they're worth today. Fortunately, the money that they bought them at that time, it's just the market hasn't built that up yet. We're probably two years away from seeing that if these trends continue for 2 years and interest rates don't go up. Okay, outside of those things, we'll just look at some of the other market highlights this month. The Northeast is an interesting place to watch. It's actually sitting at supply levels that are lower than, we haven't seen since 2007. And we're starting to see a lot of multiple bids and some significant increases in prices in that quadrant of the city. 60% of all the sales in Calgary are under $450,000. That's part of this demand in the Northeast. That's where you're going to find the greatest number of those homes. And this is what we talked about, that low supply, about 1,000 to 4,000 less than where we typically are in April. Interest rates have shown some signs of going up. The 2.99s are no longer on the table, but still traditionally ridiculously low interest rates. So as a whole, that is this month's summary. I do hope you found it enjoyable. My name is Mark Dahl. I do want to be your realtor. You please feel free, if you want any more information on any of this, want to know what your home is worth, or anything in the real estate world, I'd like to be your source for everything real estate. You can reach me here. It's sold@markdahlhomes.ca. My phone number is 403-561-7318. Or those of you who are Twitter savvy, I'm at Dollhouse YYC. Thank you very much for joining us again this month. I really do hope you found it enjoyable. Pass this on to friends and family if you feel that they would benefit from it. Thanks again, and have a great day.